Don't overdo it. Excuse me. This is to be finished by lunchtime. Understood?
Oh.
Well, maybe I should have let you cook the eggs.
What?
Well, I'm no Bernard King, but it won't kill you.
Ian, do you trust me?
Silly question. Look, why don't you tell me what's bothering you? It can't be that bad.
Oh, can't it?
Well, I won't know until you tell me, will I? Oh, come on, get it off your chest.
Well, I was in Wentworth 10 years ago as a prisoner.
Go on.
I was a customs official at the time, and Malcolm, my brother, had all his money tied up in electrical discount stores. Well, he was importing a lot of goods, and he said he wasn't getting a fair deal from the customs department. I felt sorry for him. So I started bypassing a few channels with the paperwork, and before I knew it, he was taking goods out of the store without even getting a customs clearance. I knew I was bending the rules a bit, but I didn't think he was doing anything criminal.
And you got caught out?
Yeah. He bought me a very expensive stereo, and when the department started to check on me, they discovered it came from a pilfered shipment. It wasn't even his. I couldn't turn him in, so I ended up in Wentworth. I was acquitted, but the women found my file during the riot, and they made life very unpleasant for me for a while.
Well, I think I should get you some fresh eggs. Those are stone cold.
Is that all?
I could get you some toast as well, if you like.
Oh, Ian, don't joke about it, please. I have been worried sick about telling you that.
My sweet, foolish girl. Did you really think that that would change anything? We are sharing our future together. You've got to forget about the past.
Well, I had completely forgotten about it until Kate Peterson reminded me. But, darling, can you ever forget about it?
Forget what?
Oh, Mrs. Powell, I was just on my way to the workshop to talk to the women. Why don't you come too? I think you should hear what I have to say.
Fine.
This Peterson business has disrupted the whole prison. And we still have to prepare for the visiting justice visit.
I suppose he'll also be hearing the charges against Driscoll.
Well, yes, of course.
Well, I hope he's not too hard on her. She is rather a special case. It's not as though she's a criminal like the rest of them in here.
I'm sure he will be as fair and just as he possibly can. But we do have to do something about these attempted escapes.
Mrs. Davidson, that's just the point. If he knows that she's tried to escape before, then it may influence his judgment on this charge. But if he thought this was an isolated incident...
He must have all the facts at his disposal if he is to help her. It is our job to teach her the discipline she will need to be of value to herself and the community. I'm sure you will agree that whatever we do is for her own good.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Yeah, we're going to call it the Weekly Stir. Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, it's all right.
I thought we'd get Dorian to do a comic strip.
Yeah, you could do a Lonely Hearts column, B.
How'd you like to do a first aid column from experience?
Come on, B. Where's your sense of adventure?
We get all our information from the grapevine. What is the point of putting a paper out with stuff in it we already know?
Don't you think it's worthwhile?
Oh, you can do what you like. At least it'll keep you off the streets, but I've got better things to do with my time.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Hey, we've got company.
Right, look busy. Oh, sorry.
Good morning, ladies. Now, I won't keep you too long from your work, but I have some rather disappointing news for you.
That figures.
As you know, the department's purpose in setting up this print shop was for us to handle the printing of government forms and letterheads. Now, that would mean that your newspaper project would have to be done in your own time.
Oh, well, what's so disappointing about that? We already figured that one out.
That's not all. The department and I have had lengthy discussions about the newspaper, and apparently they will only allow you 1 ream of paper per month.
What?
How much is a ream?
500 sheets, so unfortunately...
Oh, well, we can't do anything with that.
Well, I'm sorry, but you'll just have to make the best of it. There's nothing more I can do.
Well, if the department thinks we're going to take that lying down, they've got another thing coming. The women have worked very hard on this project,
Smith.
and no departmental ratbags are going to louse it up. No way.
Bloody typical of this place, isn't it? Find a way to stuff up everything we try and do.
Yeah, doesn't seem much point to it now.
Why don't you lot stop whinging and do something about it?
Confucius said, for every problem, there is a solution.
You reckon? Then what am I doing still stuck in here?
Because you are not a problem, you're a disaster.
I reckon there is an answer, babe.
Of course there is. Just have to find it, that's all.
Fat chance.
Oh.
But I thought you couldn't give a damn about the project.
And I don't, but I don't like being kicked around. And besides, I've never run away from a fight in my life. I'm going to start now.
Pretty fancy words, but what are you going to do about it?
Well,
We will just have to find a way to get the paper ourselves.
the department isn't gonna supply it. Why should they care?
Steal it, you mean?
Sure. There's a whole lot hanging around reception. We could nick as much as we like.
And wind up in the pound and the whole project squashed. Very right.
The obvious answer is to buy the paper.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now we have one other small problem.
What?
Where's the money coming from?
It's all right for you. Some of us have to work.
Oh, I thought you weren't working today.
I am. I mean, what do you call organising a honeymoon on the Barrier Reef and a trip to Queensland? And on top of that, I've got to go to the bank and see if I can afford to keep you in the manner in which you are about to become accustomed.
And didn't anyone ever tell you that two can live more cheaply than one?
Not with the price of apples these days.
You sure we can afford this trip to Queensland?
Yeah, I'm only kidding, darling. Of course we can. Besides, we haven't got any choice. We've got to visit all those relatives who can't make the wedding.
Yeah, well, not all of them.
Well, we could forget about my 96 third cousins twice removed, if you insist.
I do.
If you're a good girl, I'll hurry back as soon as I can. Give us a kiss. Delicious. You and Granny Smith. See you later.
Bye.
Hello, this is Miss Conway, Janet Conway. Yeah, I'd like to make an appointment for as soon as possible, please. Tomorrow morning will be fine. I'll come in on my way to work. Pardon? No, it's nothing specific. I'd just like a general checkup. Thank you.
Ouch!
You haven't had one of those for a while.
What's with this?
Sheet.
Oh, have a look at it. Fix it.
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
You talking about anything in particular or life in general?
Oh, come on, B. That paper means as much to me as it does to the rest of you. I hate to see it scrap before it even gets going.
Well, don't you worry, Mr. Faulkner. It's going to take more than one ratbag official sitting on his fat ass to stop us from getting that paper out.
That's right. You know, we got some rights, including freedom of the press.
Yeah, but how can you possibly manage on one ream of paper?
The department hasn't got a monopoly on paper. We'll just have to get our own.
You mean buy it?
Unless you can come up with a better idea.
The only trouble is it costs money.
Yeah, we're not exactly sitting on a gold mine.
You speak for yourself, sweetheart.
Pardon. We've got enough money to get the first issue out, but after that we'd be cleaned out. Where do we go from there?
What you need to do is make some extra money on the side.
Oh, you like pretty girl? Very clean, very clean.
It's enough of that smart, I'm serious.
Yes, I should.
We know we have to make extra money, but how?
Well, the press is all set up. Why not let it pay for its paper? Well, the government orders aren't going to take up all your time. You could do private contracts as well.
Hey, now you're not just a pretty face, are you?
That's right. Once we get the hang of things, we'll be able to take on lots of little small printing jobs.
And we could charge cheap rates because we wouldn't have any overheads.
And the money you make will pay the running costs of the newspaper.
I reckon it's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks. It's one I owe you.
Well, of course, we'll have to get Mrs. Davidson's approval, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I'll talk to her today if you like.
No. I think if you come up with that sort of idea, Mrs. Davidson's going to get her nose right out of joint. It'd be better if I do it. She expects me to give her headaches. Okay?
I'll arrange for you to see her.
Well, no time like the present. Why don't we go right now?
Now, I want you to follow the instructions very carefully and get plenty of rest, and I shall need to see you again in a week's time. It's extremely rude to interrupt a consultation, Mrs. Powell, particularly without knocking.
Haven't finished your lunch, Peterson.
I have a line of patients a mile long awaiting treatment. I can't possibly take a lunch break now.
Well, you have to eat. Shall I take the tray away?
Yes. No! Oh, please, just go away.